Hi there, and welcome back to the channel once again. Thanks for joining me. Well, today, for something completely different, we're going to have an unboxing of a brand new kit, another brand new one that's crept through before Christmas time. So, without further ado, let's talk about this brand new model tank from Airfix. So, what we have here is the Sherman Firefly, the Normandy spec 5C Firefly with its 17 pounder gun. Just come in. On nice artwork on the box. We've got two options. It's the Northamptonshire Yeomanry or the Staffordshire Yeomanry. Very typical of the tanks that were operating, battalions that were operating in Normandy. Some nice, slightly CGI, but quite nice artwork showing a fairly demolished looking town. I think it might be Villers-Bocage or somewhere similar. On the side, we've got the details of those two options that I mentioned, the Northants or the Staffordshire. On the other side, just the usual Airfix blurb, and then yeah, nothing on the back. So I think without further ado, we'll get cracking into this one. Let's see what it's like. I've not opened it, it's brand new. The item has literally just arrived, so it's fresh from the post. So let's have a look. Get my trusty knife, and I'll break the seals. Let's see how we get on. Got the usual Airfix, one seal on each side. One there. And one there. That's nice and easy. Okay. It's quite nice that they've actually retooled this, because I can't think the old one was yeah, it was old. Anyway. So what we'll do our usual trick of let's just get this out first. Okay, looks fairly straightforward. There's a huge amount there. Right, so instructions, one bag. I don't like the one bag thing, I don't know about you, but that kind of annoys me. But, you get scratching and all sorts of problems. Nice colour call out sheet and some decals. So we'll come back to the plastic in a minute. We will start with the colour call out sheet because it's nice and bright. Let's have a nose at this. Here we go. So this is the Northamptonshire Yeomanry, and it says matte olive drab, which is fine. It doesn't look olive drab in the actual colours. The way it's been represented, it looks like it's almost like desert yellow, oddly. I'm not sure if there's something got a bit amiss with the printing there in terms of the inks that they've used, but it's a nice shiny leaflet, as you can see. It's kind of curious, isn't it? I don't know if it shows on the camera, but that doesn't look green to me, or olive drab for that matter. Anyway, on the other side, we've got the Staffordshire Yeomanry. 27th Armoured Brigade, Operation Goodwood, which is around Cairn, of course. One of the operations to try and take Cairn, which wasn't overly successful, but anyway. This one's got a bit of two-tone camo, so it's got matte olive drab, and it's got matte olive drab and matte black, so it's a very dark sort of representation in terms of the shading, which wasn't that obvious on the box art, I've got to be honest, but yeah, that's going to be quite a dark looking tank. The Belvedere decals. Sometimes it says they were depicted as having black disruptive camouflage, possibly field applied, but it's unclear whether this may have been the result of weathering and or areas where they're just repainted fresh paint with British olive drab. The camo pattern suggested therefore are purely speculative and is at the discretion of the modeller. In other words, Airfix doesn't know what it should look like. Anyway, it's a nice leaflet. I like that. That's fine. Let's have a quick look at the decals because they're quite tiny. We get them out of the way. Here we go. Oops. Get these in camera for you. Right. So, yeah, not a lot of decals. Obviously, a couple of number identifications. That's kind of it, really. Got the Belvedere marking here for the Staffordshire one, which is quite cool. Yeah. Not a lot to say really, there's not much there, but that's not a bad thing, not a bad thing at all. Right, let's have a look at the instructions. Firefly DC, a little bit of a spiel, and then what have we got here? So, now then. So it says there are two options for track assembly of this model. Hey, this is something new, I like this, this looks interesting. Airfix recommend that less experienced modelers build the pre-assembled tracks and wheels that are shown in the left-hand illustration. Hey, this is a good idea. It's one of those moments where you think, why didn't they think of this before? And then the more experienced modeller can follow the fully built up track system. It's got track length and link system, so you've got length top and bottom, and then you link it around the bogies and drive wheels. That's a great idea. That sounds really good. I'm impressed already. So it's no bathtub style, it's make it up with a floor and wall system to make up your hull. And then you are popping in the rear, sticking in your gearbox area for the drive, for the bogies, drive wheels I should say. And then you've got this option about whether or not you have this pre-formed, which I haven't seen yet, but this pre-formed entire sort of track system, or you go on to make them one by one. So that is a brilliant idea, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of modelers that buy this will be youngsters, especially the scale, and that really does help them. That's almost Matchbox clever, isn't it, really? So hats off to Airfix, that's a clever idea. So if you're building them up, then you have to put them all in, obviously, and they get what looks like some fairly meaty anchor points here. And you get your track length section that goes on the bottom, and then you've got your drive sprockets, and you are immediately building them and then putting the specific link here that goes around it. And then again, looks very, very specific how it goes in. So this is all fixed, of course, there's no working tracks here. And then, as you see, you can put in the bottom section of the track apex, so to speak. Then you're doing the other side and in the top, and then you're doing the idler wheels, complete with. It's quite clever this, because it's got, where they've done it, they've got the side pieces, end plates as it were, of the links of the track, and then you just have the central part like an insert. That again, that looks quite clever and innovative, so it'll be interesting to see how it builds up, but this is looking pretty impressive actually. I'm already thinking this is a bargain, this kit. It costs about £11–12, and it's starting to look like brilliant value for money, to be honest. Then it shows you how to make sure they're aligned correctly, and you know, the distance spacing that you need to achieve in terms of where you put the lengths, and you're kind of repeating that whole process we've just seen then on the other side. Then you put your top section of length of track on, and again a repeat of what we've just seen, filling in the inserts on the in this case it's the bogie idler wheel at the back. It looks great actually. It's as good as it looks in the instructions. It's going to be pretty smart, this. Then we get to the top of the hull, and we're starting with, sorry, let's get this bit straighter for you. Starting with the top, and there's one or two holes you need to drill out depending on which version. Then you've got the back sort of wall with the mudguard mountings, and you've got a couple of just a couple of pieces that are going through to act as a mounting point for other parts. Then we've got again more of these sort of mounting points for the lights and things like that. And then we move on to the rear, where you've got the barrel retention anchor, as it were, the hook that holds the barrel when they're manoeuvring it and driving it backwards, with the gun pointing in reverse. Stowage box at the back, and then you've got your machine gun at the front, which looks quite cool, a nice separate piece. And then you've got, there's other various parts here as well. There's a spade here, of course, going on the side, tools and things, bits of ammunition boxes, spare bits of jerry cans, etc, etc. And it's got like, on this particular tank, it's got like a shelf that have been created for them specifically to carry these items, stowage boxes, jerry cans and ammo. And you can see it here at the bottom, what it looks like. It's like sitting on a shelf. I've not seen that before. But of course all sorts of things were improvised when they're in Normandy for, you know, for the individual needs that they felt they required on each tank. Moving on, we've now got the, oh sorry, I should have said that you're obviously mounting the, but quite important this, mounting the top and the top of the hull to the main chassis there. Got carried away with excitement about the shelf then. And then here we've got the spare track and spare idler wheels going on, or spare wheels I should say going on, spare pieces of track on the side, same on the other side. And then you get to the exciting bit, you start building your turret up. So you're putting in your mantlets, then you're fitting in your whoops, let's just fold this, it's a bit of a nightmare. Airfix are always a bit hard to handle in fairness. So then you're fitting in your 17-pounder gun here, popping that through, putting on the outer mantlet cover, and then basically you fit your muzzle. It's saying on that outer mantlet, obviously because it has to pivot, it's saying only apply glue right at the centre where it touches the barrel so it doesn't lock the whole thing and glue it up. Then you've got your base for the turret here, and you're putting your hatches in and periscopes and air intake, etc, etc, and then you pop in your turret onto the hull. Oh, and that's it. Okay, that's the final step. That's job done. Okay, well, I haven't actually seen the plastic yet, but based on this looks like Matchbox have taken a major step forward in terms of their project design, the way that they've sort of thought this through, and the whole concept looks really, really good. They've got some great ideas in there, you know, things like this insert for the links at the end of the tracks so it's invisible, and that reminds me of the Tamiya Mosquito tyres on the Tamiya Mosquito 132. It looks like they've got the idea maybe from that, similar concept anyway. Right, so look at the plastic. Get the old knife and zip it out. See what we've got. Never cut it enough, there you go. I haven't had this side either. Right then. 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just start off with the little one, I think. And bring you right in. Get these out of the way. Otherwise we'll never focus on it. A zillion years. Right. Here we are. Okay. So. And this is, fun enough, this is the very parts I've just been chatting about. So here we have these little sections of track that are going to go, oh actually no, I'm wrong, these are actually the ones that mount on the outside of the tank later. In fact, most of those parts look like they're external mounting parts for the tank. It's quite nice plastic, it's yeah, a little bit on the soft side, but it's a lot more firm feeling and more rigid than the normal Airfix offering. It's in green, which I quite like as well, which is good. And then you have got these little inserts that I've talked about, which end up going right between this outer style, which we'll see in a minute I think, where this is just the central part of the track and it doesn't show the outer pins. They're on a separate piece, and I think that's quite clever. How it goes together I don't know, but we will see. So let's just, here it is, let's just go to this next sprue and we can see it right here. So carrying on the theme, if you look carefully here, this is the idler wheel with the end pins of the track link actually moulded separately to the wheel, and that piece we just saw is just the insert that goes between. So it's a good idea. I'm sure it'll probably be okay. They would have been aware it's fairly critical that the fit of that has got to work, but I like it. I think that's quite ingenious, and it makes it simpler because you're no longer trying to almost get the piece of plastic to do two things. It just has to sit in the middle, and the external part is already taken care of because it's there within the moulding here. There's the long length track. That's the top one, the long one's the top one and the short one is the bottom one. And then of course we've got all the bogies, and yeah, they look pretty good. I've got to say the moulding quality is really good. There's no flash here at all, which is looking, yeah, quite impressive. You've got your bogies and wheels all as one. It's a shame they didn't do them separately, but I suppose that would have made the build a bit longer really. And then you've got like a bogie cover on this side. So you put the cover over and then it's complete. But the moulding looks exceptional. Here again, if you look carefully, we have got these other inserts at the other end for the drive sprockets, and they're really quite a sharp turn. Can you see that? So again, they've done that cleverly, haven't they? That's been thought through. This is a really good kit actually. I'm not sure I care for the very pale green colour of it, but you know, let's not be too fussy. Okay, moving on. Here we have some of the main parts of the tank. So we've got basically the floor, the sides of the hull, rear of the hull, front of the hull, and then the main hull top itself. And you've got to remember that we reviewed the Matchbox version of this a few days ago and saw that earlier. And it's very reminiscent of it actually, a little bit more detail though here, a little bit more, perhaps a little bit more moulding finesse, because we are talking 50 years nearly later, 48 years. And it looks good, doesn't it? It's very sharp and it's very clean, and I'm impressed. This is not like an Airfix really, it's more kind of, more sort of Hasegawa-ish I'd say, or almost like scaled down Tamiya. It's clean, there's no flash, no problems there I can see, and it's solid. It's nice, I'm impressed. This is good value for £11 I think. Right, here we've got the turret, and as you can see it's moulded with the sort of stowage box all moulded on the back, but again compared to the older Matchbox, which is what you'd expect, it's got a lot of detail that's moulded into that wasn't really present on the Matchbox. A lot more fine detailing, although it doesn't have an opening hatch, which is kind of disappointing. I always think that these sort of, at this scale, they really should come with a hatch open and a man popping out of it, just to give it a little bit of scale and a bit of animation. And here, very importantly, especially for the younger viewers, this is the pre-made entire tracks and links, and it looks pretty damn good, I've got to say. It doesn't look toy-like. It's quite nicely figured. So you can get the camera to focus. Look at that. That's amazing. So that's the entire thing sort of done for you. You just slap them on the side, and off you go. Now there's not huge detail on the links of the tracks, but there is on the top though. It's pretty good. Look at that. Now I'm impressed with that. I think that's clever of Airfix. I think that's a really sensible solution to the problem of youngsters who don't want to, they don't want to spend hours and hours building up links and bogies and wheels and all that stuff. They just want to get on with it and get the thing built. And it reminds me actually, some viewers will remember the old Airfix that were kind of pre-made for you out of a kind of quite soft plastic, polystyrene plastic, slightly rubbery, you'll know what I mean. And they used to have things like a Churchill tank, and I think they had a Sherman, and I think they had maybe a Panther. I think, was there a Tiger? This is about, and they used to come pre-made in a box on its own, and it was quite a small box they used to pop out of. Landing Craft was another one, and they were really cool, and they've sort of taken the lead from that, but they've moulded it in the high quality polystyrene and with all the detail. I think that's excellent, I've got to be honest. I think that's a really clever idea. Anyway, we've got the gun mantlet. We've got the outer mantlet here for the gun, and the inner mantlet that pivots upon. Here we've got the outer hatch. That's shame that the hatch doesn't open, it's just a cover really. And then here you've got your 17-pounder gun, which is the big characteristic of the Firefly. Only disappointment for me is that the muzzle is not drilled out, so there's no hole in the muzzle. You soon drill it, of course, but again, if it's a younger model, they might not want to be doing that. But apart from that, yeah, it looks really good. It looks nice and straight and scale-like. Just wants that muzzle sorting. And here you've got your anchor or your barrel clamp. I keep calling it an anchor for some reason. Barrel clamp when they turn the barrel backwards, and then you've got various sort of towing eyes and lights and things here. And that's kind of it really. Now I haven't seen, reviewed or seen any Airfix armour for years, but I'm very impressed with that. I say it's £12 or under, and it's been well thought out. You can tell it's new tool. It's very, very sharp, and the plastic quality is good. Some reservations about the way they portray the colours, but apart from that, really, 9 out of 10. I think that's fair. It's a winner, isn't it? So that is the Sherman Firefly 5C from Airfix, just come out. In fact, it does say on the side, just give you the number as well, because that's very important. It's AO2341. Now they've also brought a new Tiger out, which I'm hoping to get soon, so watch this space, because that'll be coming along in due course. But I just wanted to tell you, finally, what it says about manufacturing dates, and it says, yep, that's exactly what we thought. It's modelling and tooling 2020, made in India. So at least they're using this better plastic. It's a bit more solid. It is. It's really firm. It's not that squidgy blue plus blue tacky stuff, as I always call it. So there you go. 9 out of 10. Absolute winner. Very impressed with that. Oops, that's put the right way up. For Firefly now, I mean, you know, you've seen that nice one from Matchbox. They're quite hard to get hold of course. This won't be. You can get this at any hobby store, model shop. They'll be everywhere now. Thumbs up for me. A great stocking filler for people, for little boys from, you know, 5 to 85, frankly. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the vid. Thanks for joining me. More coming soon, more Matchbox, and hopefully have a Tiger tank for you in the not too distant future as well, new one from Airfix. If you enjoyed the vid, please like, share and subscribe if you haven't already, and watch out for more entertaining vids coming very soon. In the meantime, thanks a lot. Appreciate you joining me. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.